What's going on here? All right, here we go. All right, all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High. Shabbat Shalom to brothers and sisters in house, online. I was gonna say, if I'm coming in clear, let me know. We was having some mic issues early in the week. We seem to be all right now. Prayerfully, everybody's doing well on Shabbat. All right, so y'all can see the title, man. We're gonna get to Revelation 17, and we're gonna cover this. Oh, my bad. In there, the mother of harlots. Who is this harlot that the Bible speaks of? Who are the 10 horns, the seven? The 10 7 heads, the 10 horns. Getting into the prophecies regarding Trump, NATO, Greenland. We went over some of this last night. Some things we're gonna have to revisit, just because it's in the spirit right now. Prophetically, it's important that we cover these things and we can kind of see how the Most High is unfolding His will upon the earth, right? So let's jump over to. We're gonna get right to it. The water for brothers and sisters, man, that was patiently waiting for us to get on. Salute to all the others in the chat. Let me turn this banner off because we are rolling. All right, and we're gonna start at verse 1, 17 and 1.
Okay. Book of Revelations, chapter 17, and verse 1. And there came one of the 7 angels which had 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
All right, so what we're going to identify is who is this great whore, why are they being judged, how the Most High is going to judge them, and we can all this, as we collectively kind of see all the things that's been happening prophetically throughout the earth, the involvement with America, Donald Trump, the diplomacy or the so-called diplomacy that's going on within the earth, the kidnapping of, sovereign leaders in Venezuela, the, rape and pillaging and murdering indigenous tribes here in the Americas. You're talking about after the earthquake in Haiti in 2010, they went and pillaged that whole thing, man. They're still, in destitute over there. The Clintons went over there and bagged up all the money, all the donations that went over there. UNESCO went over there and was raping the women, man, left cholera and all kind of disease over there. I mean, this place has much to be judged for. If you're looking at how they institute their quote unquote democracy throughout the earth, America's got over 700 military bases all throughout the earth. They're in everybody's business. They're dictating policy wherever they want, just like now when we see Trump saying, Greenland, we're taking it the hard way, or you can do it the nice way. They're not going to like it, but we're taking it. Turning his back on his allies in NATO. All of these things is like, I always make reference to him, aligning himself up like in the federal investigation, RICO. They let him get away with, the Most High let him get away with a whole lot, but he's not really getting away. It's only compiling the reasons as to why this place need to be judged. Now, see, I'd already gave it up. I mean, y'all already know who the mother harlot is, who this great WHORE is. There's kids in the room. it's this HOE, 304. Who it is? Yeah, old school strawberry. Yeah, and she's definitely on the streets on Fig, on everything. But let's see here. Now it says 7 angels. Each one had a vial. Right, let's identify what the vials are. Jump over to chapter 16, read verse 1.
Revelation chapter 16 and verse 1. And I heard a great voice of the temple saying to the 7 angels, Go your ways, and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth.
Right, so each vial is showing the wrath of the Most High. Okay, wrath comes in plagues, wrath comes in war, wrath comes in death, wrath comes in judgment. These are the things that each angel had. Now, John the Revelator is receiving this vision, and he's getting the vial, and it's showing him the wrath of the Most High, the judgment. He's not having favorable judgment with this place. This particular place is going to receive the wrath of the Most High. Jump over to Job 9:24. Now it says, this same great horde sits upon many waters. And we'll get to that later. But it's one thing that it's sitting upon, and it's sitting upon a area of rulership, sitting upon many waters, meaning they have control.
Job 9:1.
9:24.
9:24.
The old class.
Okay. Book of Job, chapter 9, and verse 24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
So the earth's been given into the hands of the wicked. So the entire dominion of the earth has been given into a nation, a people, a person, whoever. We're just going to keep it ambiguous. Whoever it is, the Lord said they're going to be wicked. Think about who's running and controlling the earth. Who controls the World Bank? Who's establishing and imposing AI on everybody? Who's controlling the stock market? Who's controlling who has the vastest military throughout the earth? Who's was behind these particular plagues that had people masked up on 6 feet from each other and quarantining for the last 3 or 4 years, from 2020 all the way up to 2023, 2024, and was blaming other nations. Then you find out, oh, it was lab created. Oh, there was other people that was behind this. Now, all their wickedness is being revealed. Who lied about the chosen people of the Lord? And it said he's going to cover the faces of the judges. Now, if you're going to be a judge, then you should have an understanding of law. If we're going to a legal system, law has to be established. So there are true judges who are establishing things via the law of the Most High, which was only given to the children of Israel. But he said these same people are going to cover up the true judges to what? Establish themselves saying they're the judges now. So they did a whole hijacking regarding identity theft. I mean, fraud. They keep talking about fraud and worrying about them damn Somalians. He done committed massive fraud. Not only from identity fraud, he's committed fraud. I mean, where's the $24 billion that Governor Gruesome came up missing, saying it was supposed to be for the homeless, and he still ain't accounted for that yet. Don't even know where that money is. But this is why the Lord said, okay, remember I said, whoever's running the earth, these people are wicked. Whether you like it or not, whether I like it or not, whether you want to have a sympathetic ear for them and, your best friend, it doesn't matter. It's what God said. God said, hey, these people are wicked. I'm telling you. No, some of them are good. No, it can't be everybody. Well, what about the black people ruling over there and Idi Amin and all them in Africa? They're killing. Africa's ran by the French and the British. they don't have no control over their own land.
Right.
Trump just bombed Nigeria. What are we talking about? The only thing they're controlling is their customs and the ones who aren't Israel, their heathenistic ways over there. Other than that, it is what it is. So if God said whoever's controlling the earth, they're wicked, right? Everybody knows about, the 1%, the elites, the Illuminati. Well, I ain't seen a black person yet represent that. I ain't seen a Hispanic person represent it. Every time you see in the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Bilderbergs, they all look the same to me. And all of them have the same identity, same forefathers. They're hiding behind the birthplaces of their nationality, but the ethnicity is still Edomites. They're still white folks. Whether they're saying they're Russian, German, French, Scandinavian, Italian, they're all the same. Doesn't matter. So don't get caught up in that. But this particular great whore is going to sit on many waters, and the waters is representing the earth and the people, right? They're sitting on top. They're sitting in the throne. They're ruling over all these particular places, right? Now jump back over to Revelation, and let's read verse
17.
Jump over to verse 15, just so we can establish that. We're going to go back when we read it, but to establish what the waters were. 7 and 15. 17, 15, it's lucky.
Book of Revelations, chapter 17, and verse 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues.
Right. So the whore is sitting on top of the multitudes of nations, peoples, tongues. Isn't this place called the Great Melting Pot? America alone, this is where all nations, tongues, kindreds, people come over here, man. They want to establish the American dream. They want to sip the, get a little sip of the juice, that America is providing. They all want a part of the culture. They all want to be part of America. They want to change their names. They want to, do all them things because why? The whore sits on top of all of them. All right, let's jump back over and let's go over the verse. No, you know what? Give me Revelation 21:9 too.
Book of Revelations, chapter 21, and verse 9. And there came unto me one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials full of the seven last plagues, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, I will show thee the bride, the Lamb's wife.
All right, so that's just another precept to show you what these vials represent. It said the seven last plagues. So it's the wrath of the Most High, it's the plagues. These are the things that's being poured out upon the earth. So when you're seeing the shift in the earth, and you see all these spirits moving around in the earth, it's because vials are being opened, judgments is being put out. Even Christ told us that because wickedness has abound, iniquity has abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Mm-hmm. That's a vial that's been, spread throughout the earth. When you notice, like, everybody ain't moving in the righteous fashion no more. Righteousness is actually getting cast to the side. People are choosing wickedness over righteousness now. People are desirous to be evil. You try to give them the right thing. You try to tell them to repent. Man, our people give you the middle finger in a minute, or tell you crazy, or tell me I don't want to hear about that, or got a million one excuses as why they shouldn't crack open this Bible. Oh, the white man wrote it. Oh, that's been tampered with. Oh, we heard about this all the time. I don't trust religion. All of these particular excuses, instead of just trying to research and allow the Spirit of the Lord to dictate to you the righteousness that flows from this book. They rather just say, oh, man, there's always been wars going on. Y'all always say that. No, not like what's going on right now. Not like the Bible described them. We know the war is going on, but when it's being done in the fashion of prophecy, it's a whole nother thing. Let's go. Read verse 2.
Book of Revelations, chapter 17, verse 2. With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication.
So this is why we're seeing that this metaphorically being made. There's this harlot, and now she's got multiple kings who are committing fornication with her. They're all laying with her. They're all in bed with her. They're all enjoying the pleasures that come with her. Now, jump over to hold that. Go to Jeremiah 25:15. Now, if you see here, and you got to think about it. Now, this is, I done already spoiled it, but if it ain't registering to you and it ain't really clicked in, just think of it like this. Okay, so there's a woman that's being used as a metaphor that's sitting upon kindreds, nations, peoples, tongues, and this same woman is interacting with many kings that are committing fornication with her. You can't say that's Hillary Clinton. It's not literal. You know what I'm saying? Like, there ain't no female that's running around here, laying up with all these kings of the earth, and they're drinking some fictitious wine of fornication. Like, no. This is talking about a nation that is now interacting and intertwining themselves with other nations, kings, having relations that the other kings are benefiting of. Go ahead.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 25, and verse 15. For thus saith the Lord God of Israel unto me, take the wine cup of this fury at my hand, and cause all the nations to whom I send thee to drink it.
Go ahead.
And they shall drink and be moved and be mad because the sword that I will send among them. Then took I the cup at the Lord's hand and made all the nations to drink unto whom the Lord had sent me.
Right. So this is all based upon the Most High putting the wrath of the Most High. That's some vials, right? And he's making the nations drink, but the only way that they're going to drink and they're going to receive judgment as well is because they have to intermingle with this whore. Okay. Now, let's go back over here to Revelation. Give me 18.
Mhm.
And start at 2, we'll read down to 3.
Book of Revelations, chapter 18, verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
Right. So for the, I don't know if the brother or sister that asked what's the mark of the beast according to Revelation 13:16. I got a 2-part series on the channel. Go look it up. I'm not going to distract from the lesson right now, but it says the marking of the beast system. You can check it out. Continue, read verse 2 one more time.
Verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
All right, so Babylon is America, and it's the hold of every foul and unclean bird. So every unrighteous, wicked, abominable spirit, blasphemous spirit comes from out of this place, man. This is the place where they say anything goes. You can change your gender, you can change your name, you can change colors if you want to. We were just talking about the melanin and
price of melanin.
The price of melanin through the labs and all that other stuff. The fake foods, you name it, it's all here. The intermingling, the intermarriages, all of the diplomacies that they put out there, the oppressing of nations, the colonization that they've done with within the Americas to establish themselves and saying that they're the founders and all this other stuff. Like, this is all ridiculous. That's why it says a habitation of devils. The devil is a deceiver and a liar. So if this is their habitation, this is their dwelling place, just off of the foundation of them saying that they're the founding fathers and they found this place, that's a habitation of a devil or a habitation of a liar. You didn't discover this place. You're not a, quote, founding father. Of every unclean and hateful bird, this place allows the fornication, the pornography, you name it, whatever you want, it goes. The promotion of drug, we were just talking about it coming into class. Ashar and I, if y'all remember the candy, they used to be the fake cigarettes.
Oh yeah.
And you used to have to blow on them, you get the little dust blow out there. I mean, this is the only place that would start conditioning the kids to start imagining you smoking cigarettes as a youth. And then you see why, the Newports and everything else is plaguing, the menthols, Jakes is addicted to them things because we get trained early. Big league chew with the dang gum, where they have you thinking you eating, tobacco and all that. I mean, that's unclean and hateful. Where they promote all of these unclean foods and meats. Bill Gates telling you, with the GMOs and the poop water, and this place got to go. Every unclean and hateful bird can be found here. That's why if you desire it, people want to come here. And they're flooding over here. They're leaving their other nations, the Middle East and all that. They don't want to be under Sharia law. They don't want to be under. They said, man, I'm out of here. I'm going to America. You're dealing with poverty over there in West Africa, Nigeria, Somalia, whatever. I'm out of here. I can go scam and get it good over there in America. Everybody wants to come here. Read verse 3.
Verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her.
Right. So all the kings of the earth are in bed with America, right? They have an allegiance right now that's known as Nato, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, that's in jeopardy right now. They've got dealings with the EU. They got dealings with Moab and Ammon over there with the Chinese, the Japanese, North and South Korea. They're in bed with everybody. There's not a nation that doesn't have dealings with America. You remember when Trump in his first term, when he was the one that declared Jerusalem is the capital of Israel? Like, you ain't even over there, but America's got to be the one that makes that policy. The Iranians over there protesting, marching, wilding out in the streets. Who are they waiting to come save them? They waiting for Trump to go over there. Man, the white man's got to come save us, man. Oh, he's telling them, help is on the way. We're going to make Iran great again. If you don't knock it off. But here he goes. All nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. There's not a place, man, that this dude ain't in. And Babylon does not have a hold on. Go ahead.
And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
Right. So through trade, through these tariffs, everything, America makes money. One hand washes the other, both hands wash the face. All the nations know that all money flows through here. All the economic commerce comes through here, through trade, embargoes, all that other stuff, man. It all comes through here. All the nations know. You don't see, people aren't worried about riding. You hear like these little rappers and stuff now talking about how they driving Europeans.
Hmm.
They don't give a damn about Mercedes and Bentleys and all that other stuff in Germany. Where does it matter? Over here. That's why Germany's like, yeah, let's make sure we get them cars over there. All the technology, Apple, everything else, it's getting manufactured in China, but it's coming over here. Because they know we're gonna be the main consumers of everything. They're gonna make their money over here. China's buying up American debt. They're making sure that they got money. It doesn't matter what they're talking about publicly about how much, America, Trump and Xi Jinping don't get along. China's still buying up debt, helping America stay out of trouble economically. So they're still working behind closed doors. Every nation is getting a piece of the pie. The petrodollar with Israel and Saudi Arabia selling oil for American dollars to help establish the power of the dollar. All the nations are taking part in this. All right. Let's jump back over to give me one more precept, Revelation 14:8.
Book of Revelation, chapter 14, and verse 8. And there followed another angel, saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
Right. So because of the fornication that is committed, now fornication is a highly offendable sin according to the scriptures, right? You can commit adultery, you can get put to death. It's punishable by death. That's why Babylon's ultimate judgment is death, is destruction. There's not going to be some carrying on and then making America great again. An extension of his kingdom. That's what he's trying to do. Getting his Golden Globe, he wants to get that up. Golden Dome, Golden Globe, Golden Dome. He's trying to get up to defend the place. He's trying to establish the Monroe or the Don Road Doctrine so he can get control of the Western Hemisphere. All the stuff. He's trying to extend his power and thinking he's going to have a continuation of this place. That's not happening. This thing has a determinate end, right? And the scriptures even tell us that in Revelation 12. It says that he knows that he had but a short time. So this is why he's scrambling around throughout the earth, man, trying to dictate policy everywhere, because he's trying to hold that last little grasp of power on before it slips from his grip.
Got that if you wanted to.
You got that, Revelation 12?
12?
Yeah, go ahead and read that.
Book of Revelation, chapter 12, and verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down to you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
He knows his time is short. So because of that, he's running rampant throughout the earth, trying to hold on to his power base and his influence in the earth. All right, let's jump back over to Revelation 17, read verse 3.
Book of Revelation, chapter 17, and verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
So now it said John was carried away in the spirit into the wilderness. Give me Ezekiel 11 and 24. And let's see this. When you got it, go ahead.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 11 and verse 24. Afterwards, the Spirit took me up and brought me in a vision by the Spirit of God into Chaldea, to them of the captivity. So the vision that I had seen went up from me.
So what that precept is helping us understand is that him being taken up into the wilderness, and through the Spirit, he's receiving a revealing or understanding, right? Read that one more time from the top.
Verse 24. Afterwards, the Spirit took me up and brought me in a vision by the Spirit of God into Chaldea.
All right. So this is how Ezekiel, we see how the Most High communicates with his prophets. He receives them, they receive it through the Spirit in vision. So this is why John was receiving a revelation or a revealing. So this is more of what he's getting. So he got the vial from the angel. The angel told him, look, I'm about to tell you what's going on. One of the plagues is going to be released on this harlot. Now he's giving him all the descriptive things. He's seeing all these things as a vision. Okay. Now jump back over to 17 and 3 one more time.
Book of Revelation, chapter 17, and verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon scarlet-colored beasts, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
All right. So the scarlet-colored beast, there's a reason why it's being described by color. Right? Somebody help me out. I don't want to state the obvious. Y'all know. Don't say it all at once. Why is it scarlet? What other nation was described when they were born? Okay. Genesis 25:25. Y'all can write it down. Everybody should know that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's why it's so important to recognize why the Most High described Esau at birth. That was going to be a marker for future prophecies and revelation for us to know why is it a scarlet colored beast? Why is this the only baby that got described coming out the womb? Everybody else is normal. Why is this one got to be marked? Very similar in the spirit, talking about Cain. That's a whole nother thing. But both were marked. Right. Now, this same scarlet colored beast now says, so he carried me away in the spirit in the wilderness. So what was he receiving? Receiving the spirit of revelation and understanding and a vision that the Most High was giving him. And he saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast having 7 heads and 10 horns. Now, Revelation 12. And let's just read, let me get right to the point. What is it? 12 and 9?
Yeah.
Where's the one that says he was red though? 30.
3?
Yeah.
The book of Revelation, chapter 12, and verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head.
Right. So this is showing you that beast, when it said the scarlet colored beast, is the same red dragon that's being described in Revelation, the 12th chapter. So that beast is actually a dragon, a red dragon, metaphorically speaking, right? Now it said it also had 10 horns, 7 crowns upon his head. Okay. And that's showing the power, rulership, and dominion that it was coming with. Go to Psalms 91 and 13. And we'll get more descriptions on that in a minute, but let me see if I can get a quick precept on that one.
The book of Psalms.
Hold on.
Okay.
That's the one I want. I don't think it's not. Let me see. Is that 91? Am I looking at? Nah, that's not the one I want for the horns. That's another one. Let me see this one, Ezekiel. That one, Ezekiel. Yeah, give me Ezekiel 29 and 3 also. And then I'm gonna go back over to Revelation 17 again.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 29, and verse 3. Verse 3. Speak and say, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I am against thee, Pharaoh king of Egypt, the great dragon that lieth in the midst of his rivers, which has said, my river is mine own, and I have made it for myself.
So we see how the Most High uses zoomorphism, as they call it, when animals or creatures are being used in representations of humans, right? So we see that Pharaoh was called a dragon. So even when we go back over here to Revelation, and it said that this great red dragon, it's metaphorical in nature, but in the spirit, it's backed by Satan. So there's a nation, there's a people, there's a system, there's a conglomerate of red people that are established via 10 crowns and 7 heads, showing their rulership and their dominion, right?
Mhm.
Now, back to Revelation chapter 12, read verse 9.
Book of Revelations, chapter 12, and verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world.
So his objective, Satan, is to deceive the whole world. So now this particular spirit of deception is going to be throughout the earth. This is why Christ told us, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free, because we're living in a world of deceit. Everything is based upon trickery, sleight of hand, disinformation, false information, AI playing tricks on you. Brother just had a damn Kim Jong-un crip walking on Instagram. I mean, it's wild. But this is the objective: to utilize the technology and the wonders to have the nations in subjection and to have them be deceived to do his will. But this is all being powered by Satan, but he also has workers. Continue reading.
And Satan was deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
So the representation of Satan, he's got agents that he uses to deceive the whole world. He's got players and actors, as they call them, to manipulate and do his will, right? And they're founding this particular beast system, funneled and powered by Satan. All right, you can write down Revelation 13 and verse 2, and it tells you that Satan, through the power of the dragon, gave power to one of the beasts. That's Daniel 7. We got a lesson about Daniel, the 7th chapter as well. Online, you can check about the 4 beasts of Daniel. But the last beast, which is Rome, and the so-called white man, it tells you that he was given power. The dragon gave him his power, his seat, and great authority. So who is controlling this nation, this people? Who is controlling the operations of this last beast that's influenced and comes after the birthing of Rome? Satan. So when we say the white man's the devil, it's not cliche. It's not because we heard Malcolm X say it, and it's because it sounds cool and rebellious, and no, it's rooted in the truth. The Bible said, man, Satan is going to give a nation power, and they're going to deceive the whole world. That means that they're operating after the spirit of Satan. I mean, you just can't make it no nicer. It just is what it is. They love to lie. I mean, it'd be hard for them to tell the truth. What do you say in Psalm 58? The wicked are estranged from the womb as soon as they be born, speaking lies. They can't help it. Even Trump said, I try to tell the truth when I can. He said that in his first campaign. I try to tell the truth when I can. I mean, if I can find that, why you go back over to Revelation
17.
Yeah.
Verse 3 again.
Yeah, read verse 3.
Book of Revelations, chapter 17, and verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Right. So we're going to see what the 7 heads and 10 horns are as we continue on. Now it said these 7 heads, 10 horns had names full of blasphemy, right? So let's look at blasphemy real quick. And read right here. Blasphemy again.
Blasphemy against the Holy Ghost, Matthew 12 and 31 through 32, Mark 3 and 28, 29, Luke 12 and 10, is regarded by some as a continued and obstinate rejection of the gospel, and hence is an unpardonable sin.
No, unpardonable sin. That says that this particular beast, this woman with 7 heads, 10 horns, has committed multiple. That said, full of names of unpardonable sin. That means there is no getting away with this one. There's not going to be no sparing. There's not going to be pray for America, pray for our nation. That's out. The Most High said, man, he that turneth away his ear from even hearing the law is prayers and abomination. So you can throw that out the window. The black Negro preachers run around praying for America and praying for our president. You see him when he gets sworn in, they be surrounding them, holding their hand, putting their hands on them, thinking they anointing them. That's out. That's all ridiculous. That's in vain. Unpardonable sin. He can't repent from it. It's over with. Go ahead.
Simply because as long as a sinner remains in unbelief, he voluntarily excludes himself from pardon.
Right. So even your man been on record saying, I love the Christians. I'm not a Christian. So he don't believe in the Most High. He thinks he is the Most High. Let me see if this is the one. I don't know if this is it, but let me see. So this is his first campaign. He's parading himself. I'm an outsider. I'm not a politician. Is it not sharing?
I think you can stop sharing.
All right, it's not sharing. Let's see. Yeah, let me get him back up.
Have done that.
Oh,
I've worked in business.
Yeah, let me throw that up there just in case.
Take it down
Back
quick.
it up. All right, fair use. It's for commentary, criticism, research, scholarship. We don't own the rights to this. It's being utilized under fair use. All right.
Business, created a great company, created lots of jobs, rebuilding neighborhoods. That's what I've done all of my adult life. I've never wanted to learn the language of the insiders, and I've never been politically correct. It takes far too much time.
Right there. Let me see this one. Here we go. Let me see. Do you?
Classic EV myth. Charging takes forever.
If I can't find it, I'm gonna just move on. Come on.
Please.
So, Mr. President, after 3.5 years, do you regret it all the lying you've done to the American people? On
All the what?
everything. All the lying, all the dishonesties.
That who has done?
You have done. Tens of thousands.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask about the payroll tax. Cut.
Well, clearly he didn't deny the charges that was set against him. He tried to act dumb, huh? What? Anytime somebody repeated, what? Somebody lied? You repeat the question, you already stumped. Like you trying to figure out, well, how can I get around this? He didn't deny that one. But anyway, now it says an unpardonable sin, right? It says now, if a sinner remains in unbelief, he voluntarily excludes himself from pardon. So we know the so-called white man does not believe in the truth. He don't believe that we're the chosen people of the Most High. He don't believe that, Christ is a so-called black man. He don't believe that the chariots are going to come back to redeem us and lay destruction on the earth. He doesn't believe that he'll ever be out of the seat of authority and power. He's not willing to concede any of those things. So by default, he's done. All right. Let's double back and go back over to let's go to verse 4. Let's move on.
Book of Revelations, chapter 17, verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
Right. So now she's decking herself out with all the attractable things that would have men's eyes attached to them, right? So she's decking herself out in purple, scarlet, royal colors, gold, precious stones, pearls, trying to make herself more attractive, right? This is what a woman of the night, a 304 as they call them, does when she's trying to get money. She's looking for someone to seduce, somebody to drag, to get pulled in. Give me Proverbs 7. Let's read 10 down to 12. Call, yeah, this is live.
This is 17.
Mhm.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 7, and verse 10. And behold, there met with him a woman with the attire of an harlot.
So we know that even a harlot has her own attire. You have a wedding attire, you got warlike apparel, you got an attire of a harlot. There's particular dress codes that are identified by the Bible, right? So what would a harlot be wearing? She's going to wear something that's more revealing, more seductive, going to have something on that's going to identify her that she ain't the normal working class lady. She's a woman of the night, as they would call it. Go ahead.
There met him a woman with the attire of an harlot and subtle of heart.
Subtle of heart, that's important too, because what does that mean? Subtle, crafty in her mind. She's thinking about how she's going to seduce. How can I game them? How can I? A lot of these sisters out here now is moving just like that. They may not be on Fig. They may not be prostituting themselves on, but they on the internet prostituting themselves. If they ain't doing that, they living their days saying, I only need a man. If they ain't got 6 figures, I don't want them. Why? Because they're saying money makes the difference. What's that brother passed away that was getting on it? Kevin Samuels. He would always cut them like, what do you bring to the table? Well, look at me. And he'd be like, yeah, so, the average, like the ratio to men and women is like 3 to 1 in the earth. It might be worse than that. He's like, what makes you different than anybody? What do you bring to the table? Well, I'm educated. I do that. I look good. I cook. I can clean. He's like, well, I can do that my damn self. What else are you doing to help promote, build him as a man in the household? But they ain't like that. But now, a lot of these sisters out here trying to scam and scheme to get money. You got brothers online. I don't know brothers, but men online that have created AI profiles on like Instagram and stuff like that, and they're getting men to send them money because they thinking they're in relationships with them. They said that the brother Matt Barnes, now he said it was a lie, but they said that he got game for like $40,000 from an online, seductors. And a lot of these dudes out here making AI profiles, man. And now, you see the imagery in the videos, they don't know what's real and what ain't. From some old cat man holed up in his mama basement or whatever, yeah, that's on disability. And he thinking I got a relationship, I'm gonna send her some money. But that's how the harlots are operating. It's all throughout the world. But where are they getting that from? The spirit is coming from here. As the head goes, so does the body. This is the spirit that's enabling this place, moving through seduction. And then what's the harlot, the lady tonight? Who gets her back? The pimp. The pimp, go out there is the enforcer. Somebody trying to do something to the tour, he got to go out there. He got the military to back him up. You don't like what she say, what she doing. She scams you. Oh, too bad. So, and she got disease, disease galore. So watch what you're doing, but go ahead.
Verse 11. She is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house.
I mean, we see all the little ratchet, now we've even got the dang acronym, what they call them, nicknames for them now. Ratchet, what else do they got now? Thoughts, yeah, hood rats. I mean, she loud, stubborn, man. They out in the streets, man, with the bonnets on and they ashy ankles hanging out on these streets, talking crazy, smelling like weed and open can tuna. Talking crazy out here. Loud, stubborn. They don't want no order. They don't want. But that's how America parades around. You just seen Trump last night said, man, I don't need NATO. You need me. Loud and stubborn. Go ahead.
Verse 12. Now is she without. Now is she without. Now in the streets and lieth in wait at every corner.
She's looking to trap everybody all over the world. So this same mother harlot, man, she's out here trapping everybody. Just like a harlot be on the streets trying to get everybody, looking for the next Vic, looking for the next John. So is America. America's looking for that next come up, that next place that they can colonize, the next place they can throw out there, democracy and everything else. Now, how do they do it? They said that they're arraying in gold and precious stones and pearls and purple and scarlet. So that's the attire. America drapes itself with this red, white, and blue and the stars and stripes and everything else, and make it seem like they're the good guys of the earth. They're the ones who's going to establish democracy throughout the. No. When you pull all that off, it's all kind of demons underneath that skirt. Purple, scarlet, so it looks good, yeah, because why? America does have the greatest amounts of wealth, throughout the earth. Even though the dollar is struggling right now, but you can't tell them that they're not controlling the earth. America's in damn near $37 trillion in debt, but still has the most power on the earth when it comes down to trade, the power of the dollar, the precious metals, everything else is flowing through them. Yeah, it goes through Europe and England, but America can come over here and establish their own price for the metals. If silver's $100 in China right now, they saying over here, oh, we ain't paying for that over here. Over here it's 90. And that's gonna go throughout the earth. That dollar is what everything's established. I mean, you can go throughout the earth, damn near every country's gonna speak English. You gonna have somebody, you gonna get off at the airport, somebody coming out to ask you, you need a car? Uber. You could be in India, you could be in China. Everybody, but it ain't the same everywhere else. You can't go to China and they, expecting them to be speaking Chinese to you. You come over here, you're going to speak English. All the earth, they all know they got to adapt to the language. Your dollar stretches further, especially when you're in the Caribbean, third world countries and whatnot. They love them dollars. They want that white man's face and them greenbacks in their pockets. Why? Because it represents that gold, the pearls, the decked out, nature of the woman. Right? Go over to Ezekiel 6 and 9. We're gonna pick it up. Ezekiel 6 and 9. And then we're gonna go to Jeremiah.
Book of Ezekiel, chapter 6 and verse 9. And they that escape of you shall remember me among the nations, whither they shall be carried captives, because I am broken with their whorish heart, which have departed from me, and with their eyes which go a whoring after their idols.
Right. So this is, those in the remnant of Israel that are able to escape the seduction of this woman. But he said that our people have had whorish hearts, man. We've given ourselves over to all different kind of doctrines, all these religious denominations. We've given ourselves over to the nations, with relationships and things of that nature. So, the Most High is saying, look, and they that escape of you shall remember me among the nations, whither they shall be carried captive. So it's explaining and talking about the diaspora and the scattering of our people. The Lord said he's broken because of our whorish heart, meaning how we spread ourselves out in our minds now have been delving into everything but righteousness, which have departed from me. Go ahead.
and with their eyes which go whoring after their idols, and they shall loathe themselves for the evils which they have committed in all their abominations.
Right, because what comes along with the horse mind is idolatry. America establishes itself in pure idolatry all day long. They have a show called American Idol.
Mhm.
So that shows you the principles that they stand on. Every sport that they have now comes with a idol at the end of the thing. You know, when they playing the Lombardi Trophy football, they all get to hold the trophy. What them Negroes do? Puckering up their lips, man, kissing that thing.
Right, true,
They don't
man.
know where the hell that thing's
Kiss
been
the-
before it
kiss the
even
ring,
came in.
right.
As soon as they kissing the thing, holding on. You know, the NBA championships, they get the parade around the trophy. Everybody get to hold it and take it home. I think it's hockey. They do that too.
Mhm.
Everybody gets to take it home. You know, before it's all said and done, they want to take pictures with it. You go to the award shows. They just have the award shows. What was it? The Grammys or the Golden Globes? Who can lie the best? You know what I'm saying? You essentially you're actor. You portraying a character in a lie. Who can lie the best? Oh, you won the Golden Globe. You know, that's what they establish it on. And then guess what we do? We learn those things, man. We end up idolizing these same things and turn the idol worship into our mind frame. Give me Jeremiah 51:13.
Okay. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, and verse 13. O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasures, thine end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness.
Right. So this is talking about Babylon. Babylon is still also synonymous with this harlot, right? That said that thou that dwellest upon many waters. So we read that in Revelation 17:1. Abundant in treasures, yeah, because America has access to vast wealth. You know, they got. Remember, Trump said he was going to open up Fort Knox and do an audit. Talking about they was hiding gold and money up in there. He ain't did that. He probably said, "Oh, that much of this? Don't tell nobody, shoot. I need that." You know. So all of these things, but the Lord said, "Thine end is come," and that's why He's running wild. And the measure of thy covetousness. So that shows you the colonial mind frame that America's had. Covetous. As Venezuela, if they coveted, just stole all the kidnapped the president, stole the oil, just made up $500 million in the last 2 weeks since that. So the covetousness is going to be repaid as well by the Lord. All right, let's go back. Revelation. And pick it up in verse 5.
Book of Revelations, chapter 17, and verse 5. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And
Hold up. Give me that in give me Nahum chapter 3. We're gonna read 1 down to 5. So upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great. So now we're getting more identifying factors. Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. This is imprinted within the mind frame of America. That's the forehead. This is the mentality. This is how they operate. This is the thinking pattern. Abominations, harlotry, which is, you know, equating to fornication, idolatry, so forth and so on. Right. Give me that Nahum chapter 3, 1 through 5.
Book of Nahum, chapter 3, verse 1. Woe to the bloody city! It is all full of lies and robbery.
Right. So this place was established in blood. Right. And you can say, well, that was Nineveh. Well, the Lord said that His judgment is like a ring. There's nothing new under the sun. America has patterned itself after all these previous kingdoms. America's got a little Assyria in it. America's got Babylon in it. America's got Persian meat in America. You know, but essentially, Greece and Rome is its main influences. Babylon as well. We see just through the customs that they do. The folly days, those things all come after the ways of Babylon, right? Now it says, "Woe to the bloody city! It is full of lies and robbery." So how was America established? How was the Americas established? We just seen lies and robbery happen in real time. Oh, narco terrorism. That's why we got to go over there in Venezuela. Meanwhile, everything else is shifted over to the oil. That's lies. Violent robbery. Bloody city. How much blood has been established and spilled in America alone? From the blood of the saints, man. I mean, seriously. You'd be surprised. I mean, I'm surprised that any of these crops is even, not defiled.
Right.
From the bloodshed that's happened. There's a good movie. What's that show? It's on Netflix. Damn. Shar, you know the one that had they were talking about the colonization of Utah. And they had the Utes, Indians over there, they had the Mormons and the American cavalry. They was fighting over Utah. Primeval. America Primeval or Primeval. That's a really good series on Netflix, and it shows you how Esau established and stole Utah, and killed a lot of the Native Americans, man. And these so-called the Mormons is at the helm of it. Wicked is all outdoors, man. Wicked is all outdoors. But yeah, if you ain't got to get a chance to see that, man. But you see all of the other depictions of our people, man. Battle Little Bighorn, General Custard and all that. I mean, they didn't kill so many of our people. It's not even funny. Just the slave trade alone, just the Caribbeans, all the nations, throughout the earth, man. Everybody got a testimony they can say, man, that they've suffered oppression and death at the hands of America or the so-called white man. Period. Even his own.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? He don't discriminate. He kill his own people. He don't care. China got a testimony. Vietnam got a testimony. Cambodia. I mean, all of them. Ishmael, the Middle East, they all can say, yeah, he got us too. Yeah, we got history with him. Africa, yeah, he got us. So, woe to the bloody city. Full of lies, robbery, the prey departeth not. Go ahead.
The noise of a whip.
We've heard that plenty of times, man. I mean, the famous scene from Roots. What's your name?
Toby.
Ah! Kunta, wow, eventually Toby, from the stories of Rosewood to Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. I mean, what's the other one?
Lake Lanier.
Yeah, Lake Lanier. All of them, testimonies, man. The noise of the whip. Go ahead.
And the noise of the rattling of the wheels.
Right, that's the armies. Go ahead.
And of the pressing horses, and of the jumping chariots.
Right. So that's the tanks. That's the the prancing chariots. That's the Humvees. That's the planes. The helicopters. The Gatling guns. Everything that he's established to remain in power, he put them all out. Go ahead.
The horseman lifteth up both the bright sword and the glittering spear, and there is a multitude of slain, and the great number of carcasses, and there is none end of those corpses. They stumble upon their corpses.
So he's killed so many people. It's not even funny, man. I mean, not even just on the human side. I mean, y'all seen those images of the buffalo with the hides and the bones stacked up, damn near 2 and 3 stories from him slaughtering and killing out the buffalo through the hide trade and just cutting off the resources of the Native Americans. Let alone you talking about, what they said that one of the largest public lynchings was when Lincoln lynched. I think it was 20-something Native Americans publicly. Now this is the stuff that he's doing. The number of corpses, man. People are stumbling over the dead bodies over here. If they was all laid out, I mean, they would be like that. Go ahead.
Verse 4. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot.
See that? This is how we know who he's talking about. The whoredoms of the well-favored harlot. Because at the same time, even though America's got all these evils behind it, it's still getting favor. The nation still would desire to work with it. The president of Turkey said like 2 years ago, he said, everybody hates America, but we got to deal with them. Otherwise, you're getting shut down. Go ahead.
The mistress of witchcrafts that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her
You
witchcrafts.
see that? So they definitely done sold our people. They sat back and they've endorsed, the selling of nations. That says through her whoredoms and families through her witchcraft. So we know America is deeply involved in witchcraft through its technology, through literal witchcraft and occultism.
Mhm.
Okay, go ahead.
Verse 5. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness and the kingdoms thy shame.
So eventually, and as we're seeing now, America is being exposed, and we're seeing nations coming against it. Even its own conglomerate, coalitions that they're in with NATO. They're looking like, man, this dude he's wicked as hell. He's coming against us now. Now he's being exposed. Okay, let's jump back over to Revelation 17 and read verse. You know what? Let me get a couple more. We can write down Deuteronomy 11:18 regarding the forehead for time's sake. You can write down Revelation 14:1. And let's see. Let's go to write down Isaiah 8 and 16 too. That precepts Deuteronomy 11 and 18. Because when it's establishing, what's written in the forehead, in our forehead, the Most High said, put the law and the testimony and bind it up. In their mind, they're binding in abominations, fornication, idolatry, everything else is sown in the mind frame of this place. You're not going to persuade America to change at all. Revelation 17, let's go and read verse 6.
Book of Revelations, chapter 17, and verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her
drunken, I mean, that's overboard. When you've done too much, you are drunk. This place is she just like, give me another. Give me another. Give me another. As she's stumbling with the blood of the saints. Hold that, give me Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 12. Habakkuk. When you got it, go ahead.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 12. Woe to them that buildeth a town with blood and establish a city with it by iniquity.
So who built this place and who built their towns via blood? This place was not given. They said, well, the Louisiana Purchase, they bought Louisiana. No, this was after the French Indian Wars. This is after, these particular wars that they came over here and colonized and destroyed whole kingdoms of people, erased legacies of nations and names and everything else and languages. That's the blood of the saints that's been killed over here. And the Lord said, whoa, many destructions gonna happen to them for everything that they've committed here. Give me Jeremiah 22. It said, man, this place has gone well beyond. I mean, if you got the breathalyzer and if 0.8 is drunk, he's at 0.800 when it comes down to
intoxication.
The manner of blood. I mean, you talk about bloodlust. Give me a 22. Let's read 13 down to 17.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 22, verse 13. Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness, and his chambers by wrong, that useth his neighbor's service without wages, and giveth him not for his work.
Right. So how many times have our people been done wrong? Through slavery, through the plantation work, through just in the Bible says that after a day's labor, we're supposed to get paid. Now it's you got to wait 2 weeks, you got to wait a week, you got to wait a month. I'll get back to you when as soon as I can. And even then, he's getting his money before you get yours.
Right.
You don't even know what you're getting. He like, after you done labored, yeah, I'm gonna need my taxes first. I need my cut first. Then I'm gonna give you your. And I said, woe to him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness and his chambers by wrong. That's wrong. When you establishing this land through theft, robbery, rape, murder, dog sick on us, tar and feathered, quartering men by tying up whole bodies and telling the horses giddy up and go so they can rip up a body, having contests of slicing whole men in half and cutting fetuses out of women. That's all wrong and wicked. And now they go transform these lands in Jamaica, in Mazatlan, in Acapulco, in Cancun, and go setting up the Hilton and all these other damn hotels to make more money after you done stole the land. Oh, it's a resort now. Now it's a paradise. Aren't you happy I did it? Montego Bay and everywhere. Man, come on. The Lord said they take their neighbor's service without wages and give him not for his work. Built on the backs of slaves, man. They still are profiteering off of tourism for old slave houses down south.
Mm-hmm.
You can still go on these little tours.
I mean, you want to make Gaza City a resort.
Yeah. I forgot what they call it. They call it Project something. But yeah, he definitely trying to take Gaza and turn it into a dang new Vegas paradise.
Amusement park. Right.
You know?
All that hell.
Right. As much as he talking about immigration and all that, he had damn migrants working for him, building up Trump Towers and that casino he got over there in Jersey. But he ain't gonna talk about that. So that's all I want from that. We ain't got to read no more. We got a lot to cover, and I'm being long-winded. We already went through a lot. I want to try to make sure we get through it.
God.
So that's all I want on that one, right? So it says, read verse 6 again.
Verse 6. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua.
So the saints, again, that's the children of Israel if you don't know. Psalms 148, verse 14, you can write that one down. Psalms 50 and 5, you can write that down. It tells you that the saints are the children of Israel. And the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. So we're even talking about those who are going to be in the future killed for the testimony of Christ. Because this harlot, she's not going to stand for anything righteous. You can see already now through his law and policies that he's put in place that you will not, and they don't want us to be able to speak the truth. We talked about NSPM 7 and them saying, look, if you're speaking anti-American, anti-Christian, and if you have extreme views on race, anything else, they're flagging you. They're on you. They're on us. They're monitoring and they're creating these community guidelines, watching what you're saying online, all this other stuff. They got these little fake watchdog communities like the SPLC and all of them saying, oh, yeah, the Black Hebrew Israelites, those guys are a hate group. And we got to watch them. They're a cult. Meanwhile, what's the guy? SPLC, man, back in, I remember bringing this out back when we was at TN. It was probably about 2015. He got busted for discrimination in his own offices and sexually harassing women. The head of the SPLC.
Remember they have that hotline for hate.
Yeah, what was that? Dial 211 or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, report hate. I mean, they out there, man. They telling everybody you see something, say something. That's how they trained everybody when they had COVID jumping off. They was like, man, if you see your neighbors, they got a party going on, call us. They ain't supposed to be having nobody over there if they ain't got poked in the arm or if they ain't got mask on. So they trying to train people up. So they're saying, man, in the future, blood of the martyrs is going to be happening at the hands of this harlot. Read on.
And when I saw her, I wondered with a great admiration.
So now John was like, man, great admiration. He's like, man, this is a cold HO.
Mm.
And she's dangerous. Verse 7.
And the angel said unto me, wherefore dost thou marvel?
And the angel said, what you marveling for? This is what it is. This is coming from the Most High. But John is just so overwhelmed. He's already like, this is crazy. Go ahead.
I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns.
So John was already tripping, like, man, this is already overwhelming. And the angel said, don't worry. I'm gonna give you the breakdown. I'm gonna tell you what this is about. Go ahead.
Verse 8. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit.
Okay, so now it says the beast that was and is not. Now again, this is going, if you go back to Daniel the 7th chapter, you're gonna read about the 4th beast and 2nd Ezra the 12th chapter. It tells you that beast is the eagle or Rome, right? Now it says that the beast that thou sawest was and is not, meaning it was at one point a power and then it fell from power at one particular point in time. You know, if you read into Revelation the 13th chapter, it gives you more understanding about the rise and the fall of the beast and the resurrection of the beast that came back. So we're talking about when Rome fell in around the 4th century, 493 or so AD. It fell. It was down for 1,000 years, and then it came back around the 14th, 15th century, and around 1453, it came back. That 1,000 years is known as the Dark Ages. That's when black nobility came up. Our people was being more recognized for our contributions and our foothold in Europe. The rise of the Moors after like 711 AD, the Moors came up. You're seeing the presence of black people. You know, I've done a number of different presentations and visual aids and showing about the Dark Ages and whatnot. So when it says that beast that thou sawest was and is not, it's talking about Rome. It says that it was and that is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. So then it's going to come up again out of the bottomless pit. The bottomless pit is talking about Europe. Give me 2nd Ezra 5 and verse 24. So that bottomless pit. And why was it called a bottomless pit? Because at the time it was like an endless pit. You know, if you talk about a bottomless, it's something that had no thought of having an end or seeing the end of his rulership. So it was destitute of resources. At the fall of Western Rome, the economics was all shot. The army was disbanded and destroyed. They didn't have the money to pay the army. They got invaded by the barbarians. So it was just a complete constant avalanche of falling for Rome and Europe. And they had nothing to represent it anymore as far as decadence and rulership and dominion anymore. So that's why it's declared as a bottomless pit, but it was a particular area. Read that 2nd Ezra 5 and 24.
Verse 24. And of all lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit, and of all the flowers thereof, one lily.
So it's not talking about a literal black hole, but it's talking about a landmass. So when the Most High said that thou hast chosen thee one pit, it's talking about Jerusalem. That was the chosen place for our people. That's the pit. Now it says the bottomless pit is talking about a landmass. So Europe was a stronghold where Rome was ruling. And they had an extensive rulership. They had Eastern and Western Rome. Let me see if I can find a quick little visual. Let's see if I can find a decent one. Oh, that one looked pretty decent. They got all the older names in it.
Some of them.
Let's see. So we're talking about, let's see, maybe if I can find a modern one.
That's close.
Yeah.
Rome, Italy, Spain.
Yeah, they got the older one. Let's try this one. We'll just look at this one real quick. All right, Shalaki. So we're gonna share. Let me share this one real quick. And So you can get a little bit of an idea regarding Rome's territory, right? So you see, Rome had rulership all pretty much everything that we see here, not only just the red, but the yellow. So this is expanded all the way from Africa, going all the way to the east. This is all the way up into the Russia. All these lands over here, this would have been Asia Minor. You would have seen, lands like Turkey, Iraq, all these other lands over here, India, Pakistan, this all extended over here. So just imagine this is everything that they had. Now, when they lost it, all this became a pit of nothingness. Greece, Rome, Italy, all this, they had nothing left. Eastern Rome still had a stronghold. The last area to fall would have been like Russia. That's why we find so many archives and archaeological pictures and things like that out of the Russian icon books and all that still showing black people, is because they didn't get affected with the iconoclasm like that. They still had a decent little stronghold to the east. Western Rome is what fell, right? Now let's go back to verse 8 again.
Book of Revelations, chapter 17, and verse 8. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundations of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not, and yet is.
So now it says, and them that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. So why and how are they going to be wondering? What's going to cause them to be in astonishment of this place? Give me Revelation 13:12.
Book of Revelation, chapter 13, and verse 12. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him.
Right. So the first beast is talking about is Rome. Rome had supreme dominion and power and rulership over the known earth. Right. They was a stronghold power. Now it says this particular extension of the beast is going to exercise the same power as the beast before it. So out of the same vein of Rome, America is going to establish the same type of power. So it says, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him. So from colonization to slavery to you name it, the monetary system, the government, the architecture, America is basing itself right after Rome. Now it says it caused the earth and them that dwell therein to worship. Am I reading the right verse?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed.
So the deadly wound that happened is when the fall of Rome and the Western Empire. And that wound was healed because it came back up in the 14th century during the quote unquote Renaissance period to reestablish their power again. Okay. Continue on.
And he doth, and he doth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
Right. So he made fire come down from heaven, wonders in the earth. We know he's got, the what they call it, fat man and little boy, the Hiroshima Nagasaki bombings, put all the world on notice and had them all wondering. He's got them all in wonder with his technology, weaponry. Me and brothers was just talking about this earlier, about the story with the security guard over there in Venezuela, and his testimony regarding how 20 men went over there, a helicopter, 20 men, took out hundreds of them with precision, and they hit them with the sonic weapon, had them bleeding out their nose and vomiting blood, and had them completely stunned and jacked up. All that weaponry technology is all real, man. Esau got all of that stuff. Did he use them on them? Maybe so. I believe he definitely embellished and is using that psyop to scare the rest of the nations that he's got on the hit list, to make them submit before they even get into any conflict. But that story is going around the world. They like, damn, did you hear about what they got? You hear what happened to them people? That's the type of stuff that he's coming with, right? Let's go back to Revelation 17. So it says, pick it up where it says, "And them that dwell on the earth shall wonder." Verse 8.
Verse 8. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundations of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not, and yet is.
Right. So it's acknowledging that Rome was a power, then it fell, but it yet is still in existence because the legacy and the spirit of Rome still comes through America. All right. Everybody following that? All right. Go ahead.
Verse 9. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth.
See, this is why I said that one of the names shown on this harlot in the mind is mystery, because it's not going to be easily revealed for everybody. The white man, these theologians, this is the Roman Empire, the Catholic churches. They trying to figure it out. They don't realize what it is because they don't have a mind of wisdom. It hasn't been imparted to them. So they guess it. They're trying to figure it out. Now it says, here's the mind of which have wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. So what are these 7 mountains? Are they literal mountains? Give me Psalm 72 and 1, and then we're going to get Isaiah 2 and 1. Psalm 72 and 1. And you can read 1 and read down to verse. You read down to 3. We'll get right to it.
Book of Psalms, chapter 72, and verse 1. Give the king thy judgments, O God, and thy righteousness unto the king's son. He shall judge thy people with righteousness, and thy poor with judgment. The mountains shall bring peace to the people, and the little hills by righteousness.
Right. So the mountains is representing peoples and tribes and nations, right? And so the little hills by righteousness. Let's elaborate on that in Isaiah chapter 2. Isaiah 2, and we'll read verse 1. So these are metaphorical similitudes that's being shown to John via this vision. Isaiah 2 and 2.
Okay. Book of Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it.
Right. So this ain't talking about like little mountain. He's talking about the house. The mountain is the house of the Lord. That's talking about the house of Israel. Right. And it's going to sit on top of the other nations and the hills. Give me Jeremiah 3:23 is one more.
Book of Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 23. Truly in vain is salvation hoped truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills and from the multitude of mountains.
Right. So are hills and mountains literally needing salvation for the Most High? No. He's talking about nations and peoples, right? Go ahead.
Truly in the Lord our God is salvation of Israel.
Right. So that's the context. All right. So now going back to Revelation 17, and we see verse 9 again.
Verse 9. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth.
Right. So this is the power base that the woman sits on. These 7 mountains. Right. Now it's going to give more elaboration on it. Verse 10.
Verse 10. And there are 7 kings.
So these mountains are representing the kingdoms. 7 kings, right? Read.
5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come.
Okay, hold on. Let me share my screen. I think I want to get to this. Let's see here. Okay, so when we see here in Revelation 17:9, is it sharing? Okay, there you go. All right. So it says there's 7 kings and 5 are fallen. So the 7 kingdoms that the so-called white man has established his rulership under beginning under Alexander the Greek or the Greek in 333 BC was Greece, Rome, Spain, France, Germany, Russia, and Great Britain. Those are the 7 kings, right? That said 5 of them ended up falling. 5 of them lost the power, lost any influence that they had in the earth, any rulership. 5 of them fell out. What are the 5? Greece, France, Spain, Germany, and Russia. Now it says one is, meaning one still is relevant. Greece, France, Spain, Germany, Russia, they ain't got no influence no more. One still is around, even though it fell. Remember, it fell into the bottomless pit and all of that. But it's still here. That's Rome. How is it Rome still existing? Because it carried on through Great Britain and America. So we're going to continue reading. Okay, so read verse 10 one more time.
Okay. Verse 10. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space.
So he must continue for a short space. Go ahead.
And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7th, and goeth into perdition.
Right. So going into perdition meaning the everlasting destruction. Okay, so it says the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th. So it's talking about Rome. Now, coming from Rome, we have the establishment of Great Britain. So Great Britain is the 7th, right? That says the one that is not, he is the 8th. So there's an 8th one that's going to be birthed out of the 7th, and it's going to go into perdition. So the 8th is America. That's how we got the Civil War. And how America had to fight Great Britain for their independence and the Boston Tea Party and all that other madness. So America is birthed from England. That's how he's the 8th. Okay. Read verse 12.
Verse 12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast.
Okay, so now the 10 horns also represent what? 10 kings or 10 kingdoms, right? Now it says they haven't received the kingdom as of yet, meaning none of them had complete dominion and rulership as a world power, but they all have influence and power in their own right. So if you see here that this is what they call the EU or the European Economic Community or the EEC. This is all monikers or names that these 10 horns have fallen under. Okay, so this is just a little history off of the European Union website. It got established in 1945 to 59. After World War II is when they created NATO, which is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. This is a conglomeration of the nation that came together and said that they're going to establish peace on earth in the event that there's a war. They're going to be the ones that kind of intercede for the people that like Marvel and all that. They would be like SHIELD. And what's Nick Fury, that what's the name? Samuel Jackson plays in the Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, SHIELD is like the police of the world. That's what NATO essentially is, right? Now it says there's 10 of them. Here are the original 10 horns. You can look it up. You can find out NATO was established. They started off with 6, and then they have 4 joined later on, as you can see in the years. But the initial 10 of these here: Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Greece, Spain, Portugal, and Denmark. Okay. Portugal was the last one that came in after Spain. That created the 10. But this is the initial 10 that they established their rulership and dominion under. Okay. This also is where you see what's known as the 10 common markets. There's one synonymous thing that we keep hearing about is the 10-10. So you got the 10 original EU countries. You've got the 10 common markets that establish the economic base for them. And then you also have, so you can see here the 10 here. This is an archive article from the New York Times to talk about the 10 countries signed a pact to enlarge the common market. This is the establishment of the European Economic Community. This is the article from 1972. But you see that 10 again. Here's one more. Now, within the EU, they have councils, and they have 10 different what they call configurations. All right, I'm gonna play this little video
What are the council configurations?
and let them explain what are the configurations. Why do they have 10 different configurations? Why are there 10 common markets? Why were 10 original kingdoms? Now, notice it said that the 10 kings which have received no kingdom as of yet, because none of these nations were established as kingdom rulership. None of them had rulership over the whole world, except for Greece, but they were part of the 7 heads. All the rest all have respectable power, but they're not kingdoms. All right, so let's hear about the 10 configurations.
What are the council configurations? To make decisions in different policy areas, the council meets in specialized meetings known as council configurations. Each configuration is made up of ministers from the member states. It is the ministers who vote on behalf of their national government. Each configuration deals with specific issues. For example, economic and finance ministers meet to discuss financial affairs, and ministers of justice discuss justice issues. In total, the Council of the EU meets in 10 different configurations. There is no hierarchy among council configurations. However, the General Affairs Council and the Foreign Affairs Council have specific roles defined in the EU
Is it playing
treaties.
slow?
Meetings of each configuration take place regularly. Some meet every month,
Oh, if
some
it's
3 to 4
dragging when
times
it's
a
playing,
year, and some on an ad hoc basis.
Oh, it's not it's playing slow? Oh, okay.
Over 150 preparatory bodies prepare the ground for the meetings. Meetings are chaired by the minister from the member state holding the council presidency, with the exception of the Foreign Affairs Council, which is chaired by the High Representative of the Union for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy. At their meetings, ministers
So
work
you can see, I'm gonna stop it there, but you can see they deal with everything from finance, from foreign affairs, so everything. And they got 10 different configurations of how they go about their councils and their business. All right. So it's not ironic that all of these things surround the number 10. Let's double back over here to
are the
verse where we at 13?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead.
Did you want 12 again, or do you want
Yeah, you can read 12 one more time and then
go down?
go down.
Book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast.
So all of them had a dispensation of power. They've all been given power by the beast to have a dominion and rulership. That's why they have the European Economic Community or whatnot. And they have power via NATO to enforce their doctrine. Go ahead.
These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast.
So they're all dedicated to the beast. They're all dedicated to Satan. They're all dedicated to the beast system that's being established. They're all dedicated in lockstep with it. Go ahead.
Verse 14. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is the Lord of lords and the King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful.
Right. So they're going to try to, come against Yahweh side, establish Armageddon. Let's jump up real quick. 2 Ezra 13. We'll read 1 down to 5. So the gall of these nations, man, and the so-called white man is going to say they're going to think they can go up against Christ. This is why he's got Space Force. What's he got? Is it Space Force? Trump. Remember Reagan had Star Wars. Trump got Space Force, I believe. Yeah, he got Space Force. He's got the Golden Dome. Well, I don't know why I keep on saying Golden Globe. Golden Dome. They got the Iron Dome over there with Amalek. I mean, they thinking they're getting ready to set themselves up for world and national defense. All the technology that they've established, the nukes, they think they're gonna, be able to withstand the spirit and the power of Yahweh Shai. That's out, as we're gonna see. 2 Ezra 13. Read verse 1, and you can just read down to verse 5.
Book of 2 Ezra, chapter 13, and verse 1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. And lo, those arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man wax strong with the thousands of heaven.
Right. So that's Yahweh Shai coming with a legion of angels. Remember, he even told Peter, he said, man, put your sword away, man. I can call a legion of angels right now. When Peter put out a sword and cut off the ear of the high priest, he told him, man, put that away. Don't you know I can call a legion of angels right now? So Yahweh Shai said he's coming with what's the scripture say? 200 million angels? It's like 200. I forgot how the math went, but he's coming with a multitude of armies. Now it says that he's coming with thousands of heaven. Go ahead.
And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him.
Go ahead.
And whosoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth felleth when he filleth the fire.
Can you imagine? Now, if Yahweh Shai had the voice of many waters, so anybody that heard his voice, man, they got burnt and got destroyed. You ain't got to say one word. Die.
Right.
And they done. Now Esau said, load up. Fire. They gone. Go ahead.
And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of the number from the four winds of the heavens.
So they're coming from the four corners of the earth, right? This is why we see it's the European Economic Community, NATO. They're all over the whole earth, right? They're going to try to, rile themselves up. Go ahead.
To subdue the man that came out of the sea.
Right. Read verse 6 and 7.
Verse 6. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it.
So you're talking about a massive chariot that's going to, Yahweh Shai is coming. That's why he said when all eyes are going to see in Revelation 20, they're going to see the glory of his coming with the trumpets blowing in the whole nine. Right. So he said he's going to descend up into a great chariot. Go ahead.
But I would have seen the region or place wherewith the hill was graven, and I could not.
I mean, there's a lot to go into on this too. I don't want to go too far off of the beaten path of Revelation 17, but that's so he said they're going to turn their attention to Yahweh Shai and they're going to try to make war with them. But we see that's going to end in a complete failure. Jumping back over to Revelation 17, and let's try to wrap this thing up. Read verse 14 one more time.
Book of Revelation, chapter 17 and verse 14. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords and the King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful.
So the elect is going to be with Christ, putting in work, right? Go ahead.
And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues.
So that's, going back to what we read in verse 1. You can write down Isaiah 8 and 7 as a precept regarding the waters and representing peoples or nations. And one more in Isaiah 17 and 12.
You want it?
No. Isaiah 17 and 12, y'all can write them down as precepts regarding the metaphor of the seas, representing nations of peoples or kingdoms. Go ahead and read 16.
Verse 16. And then 10 horns, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire.
So like we talked about last night, with this whole thing with Greenland, this is a pivotal thing that we can see happening because, if you're trying to sit back and wonder, like, what's going to make these European nations, man, go against their greatest asset and ally of America? Why would they hate America? And now we see this guy, man, talking out of his two cheeks, saying he wants Greenland because he thinks it's a security threat for America. And if they don't get it, China and Russia both said, man, we don't want Greenland. What are you talking about? You making this up. But that's him lying again because he wants that golden dome set up over there, right? So I shared this article last night. He says, I'll quit NATO when they asked him, are you even considering that? So when he's saying, you know, these people, these are going to hate the whore. Now we're seeing why. Okay. You can read this on Jeremiah 50 and 3.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, and verse 3. For out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast.
Right. So last night we identified who this land of the north was in these particular nations that was coming about here, many of which we're seeing on this particular map right here. This is all considered Northern Europe. And you see all the countries that's within here, including the big boy Russia over here. Sweden, Denmark, Germany, and France. Now we're hearing about the reports that they're sending troops over there right now to Greenland, and they're getting ready to, you know, go hot if America moves forward any closer. And Trump has already said, we're going to do it the hard way then. Y'all don't want to submit? Okay, fine. That's why they put out the Venezuela security story like, oh, I don't want to mess. That cat said, man, this is a warning to anybody. Don't mess with America. You are not ready for what they got. As he's making threats to Greenland, as he's making threats to Iran, that was to try to get everybody in subjection. But meanwhile, he's going against his own people. So you got the pride of Esau fighting the pride of Esau. Europe ain't backing down. Europe gonna say, look, there's more of us than there are you. So what else are you gonna do? Gang up and to beat the bully. You know? Read verse 9.
Verse 9. For lo, I will raise and cause them to come up against Babylon, an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence shall she be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man.
That's right.
None shall return in vain.
That's right. The Most High said none is going to return in vain. They're going to hit their target. It don't matter about no dang golden dome. It don't matter about missile defense systems. Doesn't matter about the offensive that he's trying to put down. It's over with. The Lord said he's going to make the direct. He's going to make them go against him. Jump over into read Jeremiah 50. And let's read verse 14, and we're going to read Obadiah verse 7. So it said, the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. They're going to turn against the goose with the golden egg, mother goose, man. They're going to turn against her, and they're going to come against her, and the Lord's going to put a spirit on them where he said they're going to shoot arrows. They're going to shoot aerial weapons at this whore, and they're not going to miss. What I said, Jeremiah 50 and 14? Yeah, go ahead.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 50 and verse 14. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against the Lord.
Notice the gender that they acknowledge in Babylon. She, her, right? This is why we know this is that mother harlot. Okay, Obadiah verse 7. Why? Because she have sinned against the Lord. Remember, sealed in her forehead was abominations, names of blasphemy, harlotry, idolatry, you name it. This is why the sins against the Lord. Because it has the nerve to say, in God we trust. And meanwhile, they don't care about the Most High at all. He believes he is God. Obadiah verse 7.
Book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee.
Right. So the same nations that they used to break bread with, Sweden, Germany, Nato, all the NATO nations. It's like 30 different, over 30 countries in the NATO alliance. He said, man, all of them going to hate the whore. So imagine 35 against 1. That's just NATO. China's not part of NATO. Russia's not part of NATO. North Korea is not part of NATO. So add those to the list and think that America's got a chance. You can forget about it. Yeah. Not that. Hey, the scripture say, man, that land's gonna get lit up too, and it's gonna have to get cleaned up. It tell you what, in Ezekiel 38, and that over that land's gonna have to get cleaned up, man. They got to employ the nations to get the bodies up out of there. So this place is finished. Let's jump back over, and we're gonna finish up in verse 17 and 18, and then we'll close out.
Book of Revelations, chapter 17, and verse 17.
Oh, Salaki, I did have this other little visual that shows here about Northern Europe being divided into three parts: Scandinavia, the British Isles, and the Baltics. So when we're hearing about a nation coming from the north or whatnot, we're kind of seeing this correlation of what's happening, and Russia is involved in that as well. So if anybody's wondering if Russia going to be involved, is just going to be NATO? Yeah, all of them. But Russia, as we know, is at odds and has been at odds with America for decades now, right? And you can see here as well, when we read verse 9, Northern Europe includes Denmark, Estonia, Finland, Iceland, Ireland, Latvia, Lithuania, Norway, Sweden, and the UK. So the first, as I shared last night, the first country, Denmark, is what is the defense of Greenland right now. So if the Bible is saying in Jeremiah 50 that a country from the north is going to be a threat to Babylon, and there's going to be a company of nations that come along with this country, and they're going to go against Babylon and going to light her up. And now we're hearing these same countries, this conflict with Greenland. I mean, that's plain, man. You can't make this stuff up. And you can see, all the member states here, you can see the list of them in NATO, but I highlighted the ones that, are actually dealing with the conflict right now, sending troops over there. UK, Germany, talk to NATO forces in Greenland to calm the US threat. So, we're seeing all these particular nations that's all aligning themselves going against America, right? Because why? They're beginning to have a little hatred for this whore. They're like, we sick of her. And he's prancing around saying, I don't need you, you need me. I'll leave you. Yes, indeed. Let's finish that up. Verse 17.
Book of Revelations, chapter 17, verse 17. For God had put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled.
So the Most High is controlling all of this. Give me Proverbs 20 and 24. He's the master puppet. The puppet master. He's the one that's in control. This is how he's orchestrating the downfall of America. And he's using his own people to do it. That's what's so funny. His own creation, his own people to do it. And ultimately, the cleanup crew, Yahweh, the angels, and the elect is going to finish everything off. Proverbs 20 and 24.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 20, and verse 24.
Right.
Man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way?
Yeah, white man, he don't understand what's going on. He's being used. Just like in Ezekiel 38, where it tells you that, he's going to put hooks in the jaws of Gog and Magog. The Most High is in control of all of that. That's why in verse 17, back in Revelation, it said, for the Most High have put in their hearts to fulfill his will. So this is all according to the plan of the Lord. Verse 18, that's why it's a mystery. Because what's the Christian church? God would never do that. God is all love. God don't hate nobody. God said, I'm a man of vengeance. I'm jealous. I hate. What are you talking about? Verse 18, we're going to end it off.
Verse 18. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
Right. Read Revelation 14 and 8. The woman which thou sawest is that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. So there's a particular nation that's ruling over the earth. That's why we read Job 9 and 24 first. Revelation 14 and 8.
Verse 8. And there followed another angel, saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
That's right. So we see here that America is Babylon reincarnated. They've made all the nations drink of the wine and the wrath of the fornication. Now the nations are mad because they say, hey, you didn't tell us that this was poison. You didn't tell us that if we drank this, we're going to get judged right along with you. You didn't tell us. And they saying, hey, man, you drank at your own risk. You didn't have no problem when you get the money. You didn't have no problem when the oil was flowing. You didn't have no problem when I was teaching you how to oppress your people and be dictators and rule up. Now all of a sudden, when I got to get judged, you got to get it too. Now the nation's like, oh hell no, we don't like this. We want out. And now you see them running, trying to break free.
Too late.
And now they are trying to testify. Oh yeah, well, we know who the children of Israel are, the black folks. We love you guys. No. Too late for that. All right. So read 18 one more time, and that's it.
Book of Revelation, chapter 17, and verse 18. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
That's right. So this woman is Babylon reincarnated. This woman is America because this is the place that rules over all the kings of the earth. This is the judgment that's going to befall this place, man. So as we see Trump, man, playing his role, it's all going down, man. So stay vigilant, stay focused. We'll see what happens. All right. All praise, honor, glory to the Most High. The wonderful brothers and sisters tuning in. Hopefully this is edifying. And Lord willing, we'll see you on the next one. Shalom.
Shalom.